Good morning. Welcome to our Chinese Moms in Business Club's Queensby interview series. My name is Sally Meya Yip. I'm one of the co-founders of the Chinese Moms in Business Club, and I'm also a founder of 11K Consulting, which is a China-focused PR agency in London. Today, we are very honored and excited to have our fourth guest speaker today, Sophia from Shanghai. And I would like my amazing co-host and co-founder, Xiaofeng, to introduce Sophia in a minute. Meanwhile, I would love to share with you why we are doing this Queen Bee interview series. It's really to fulfill our mission to inspire and empower Chinese mom in business around the world to fulfill their full potential. So Xiaofeng and I had this idea during lockdown. What we could do to still communicate and achieve our purpose is to launch this Queen Bee series. And we are very honored to have our fourth speaker today, as I said earlier. So without further ado, I will let Xiaofeng to introduce Sophia and get on with it. Thank you.
Thank you, Sally. As Sally says, my name is Xiaofeng. I'm one of the co-founders of Chinese Moms in Business Club, and I'm also the CEO of Alice in Legal, and a law firm specializing in providing legal services for multinational groups. And so welcome, Sophia, and I'm very excited, very excited. I think so. How Sophia and I met each other actually is an online affair, and for whatever reason, I followed Sophia on WeChat, and so I think it's God sent gift. I followed you because through your moments and feeds and my impressions I get is you're such a beautiful and intelligent, hardworking and genuine lady, but now mom of a 2-year-old daughter.
Yeah.
And so at that time I just felt, Jim Rohn says you are the average 5 people you spend the most time with. So I thought I got to know this lady, and so I tested her on WeChat, and then she says yes, and then we end up meeting during my Shanghai trip back in 2018 when we are able to hug, kiss each other.
Yeah, and I was about like 6 months into pregnancy, 6-7 months into pregnancy at that point. Yeah.
Yes, and then so during the conversations, and I really I really felt Sophia really know her stuff and her expertise, and also she's not just had a career in Shanghai. I felt she's really thriving and she's really bring different perspectives. And then especially for me, I think I really admire is she has done really well, and particularly in Shanghai and in China, I think it's a very competitive working environment for women and for mother. We talk about a little bit on that. And so I'm just really obvious today. This is a great opportunity for me and for Sally, for all other Chinese moms. I think it's particularly for me to learn more about you and your journey. And so really, so our first question will be, I know, Sophia, you always been the head of marketing for China market, and for a number of household names, such as Weetabix and Pizzahut delivery. By the way, I'm very impressed when I was in China, very impressed with Pizzahut. And we went there. We are regulars. Yeah. We're regulars. And also now Elvis. And then I have to say, I done the research about Elvis. It's such an innovative company. And then I love the mission, which is to improve women's life. I think it's now particularly mother's life through smarter technology. I mean, I love that on the website you were saying, bringing women's technology out of the dark ages. I think that's so cool. That's so cool. So really, we're really curious to know how you started your career journey in marketing in China, and is marketing in China different from the rest of the world, from your experience and perspectives? It's a very big question. Sorry.
Yeah. So I mean, that's that's a good question for me because well, to a lot of people, I describe myself as a marketer, but of course a very unconventional one because for me, I've done marketing in a way that I always put it that in the context of business. So when you're doing business, you're global. That means you have to be a good connector. You have to be an innovative business thinker, and that has been taken the other parts of let's say the whole business into perspective. So including, let's say, sales, operation, innovation, and everything together. So that kind of perfect explains why I am in Elvie at this stage. So, but I mean, I didn't become a marketer without any background, right? So like when you're a marketer, you still need to understanding the basic the philosophies and the different methodologies, right? So I actually started doing marketing when I was in college. I didn't realize that I did. So what happened is my college was actually in the international business. But for me at that point, I'm an outgoing young lady, ambitious at that point. I was actually doing a startup called Students Overseas because I was applying to study overseas and I'm helping the other students study overseas. So I have to do a lot of let's say flyers, design, communication, road shows, and also doing let's say a lot of like text messaging communication, little communities at that point, like sessions offline as well. And then, we still use BBS at that point. I didn't realize I was doing marketing. I just was enjoying talking to people and build a community of people that has been sharing similar interests and knowing what they're interested in and how to talk to them. Is basically marketing, right? So that's how I started that journey. And then when I was in the US, I got a full scholarship to go to Purdue University to do communication degree. So mass communication and healthcare focused. And I never realized that will be important in my current job now. So at that point, I was just trying to I didn't know the difference between media or communication or let's say PR or government relationship. I thought it was marketing or communication. So I went there and I realized, okay, so I am doing healthcare communication. Interesting. So basically, it is more like a public health related communication degree. So they took only 2 students from China that year. So one is actually doing like very much, like public health related. So for them, the reason they took me is they think I'm so much into education and I'm always very aware of, the things happening around China. I'm kind of environmental conscious. So they took me, I was really, really lucky. So when I was there, I realized that, okay, I'm doing healthcare communication. I need to understand the healthcare system in the US. Difficult. So anyways, we spent a lot of time learning how to teach people how to eat healthily, not to eat too much white meat. So how to talk to people to wear helmet, when you are, riding on the road, how to drive safely, how to protect your eyes, how to be a vegetarian, and all these kind of things. So I become, a marketer in a healthcare sector, just really quite unplanned. So I was there for 2 years and I did my first internship in the public relations agency called Weber Shandwick. And that year, they're doing all the things related to the Beijing Olympics. So I was so lucky. I was working with Coke and I was just representing them and helping them communicating with the different, government agencies in China. And very interestingly, because I work a lot with the students, right? There are so many volunteers from different schools and universities in China. So that's where I start to get like very officially into my communication marketing career. So, but then I realized that when you are in a domain, like domain knowledge is so important. When you are in healthcare, you need to understand all the long English words. Very difficult. You need to be able to speak like a professional. Yeah, it was very challenging. Yeah, and I did that. And afterwards, I decided that I need to, kind of strengthen my knowledge in the healthcare industry. So I become a management trainee for McKesson, which is one of the best healthcare medication-related companies in the world. It's a Fortune 15 company. So I was there for management trainee, but I did product innovation, quality assurance, customer service, coding, and implementation in the actual hospitals. It was really challenging. And I thought, how is that even relevant to me as a marketer? I mean, for the first few months, why did I need to even to know how to do coding? But that was so helpful in my later career, which I will explain later. So, but I learned that how business will really come together. Like when you are doing communication, when you are doing product innovation, when you are servicing clients, eventually it's really knowing what they need and helping them to accomplish the goals, you know. And also like internal teams are your clients too. We need to understand how, coding works, how customer service works. And we are there, even as a communicator, to make the job easier for everyone, for better alignment. So I did that for 3 years, and I realized that probably, it's time to move on, just to really grow your vision a little bit. So I decided it's time to do MBA. So I applied. I got accepted by University of California, USC, and then also Oxford University. So I spent one serious year as a consultant and also doing my MBA program. So after that, I got a real amazing opportunity to kind of combine marketing and kind of business together. Because when you are, originally a marketer, you are thinking more about like the marketing techniques. But after you've done a business school, you start to think about the business and how can I use marketing more effectively. So that's what changed me. And I was very fortunate because at that point I was in Oxford and I was helping out as a Chinese embassy. So there is this one really huge company called Bright Food. They did a major M&A overseas, which is with Weetabix. So they need somebody who is Chinese, who understands the different cultures, who are into healthy eating with health knowledge, who is a marketer and open-minded to do the post-acquisition integration, who need to love technology, don't mind talking to the people's on the farm as well. And I seem to be the perfect fit for that.
Yeah.
So I got the job. I was in Bertolatimir. That's where our factory is, for about 1 year, and then I fly back to Shanghai to China like every month. Got a lot of frequent miles. And then about like 2 years later, they relocated me back to China just to be the person established Chinese office, because they need somebody who know both sides. I mean, I was really fortunate to meet with some of the the most influential and smart people during that job function. So I was in China for 1 year and a half, just doing all the marketing, branding, social, e-commerce, and even sales. So why did I live, right? People will be asking, you're doing such a happy job. So the answer is very simple, because when you are officially into the Chinese market, so you start to do like a lot of on-the-ground operation, and the team changes so much. So I mean, I'm more like a explorer. I'm the kind of person. I realize I like setting things up from 0 to 1, 1 to 10, probably to 100. Then when 100 to 1,000, I get a little bored. Yeah, and but this is actually a challenging job. I just love challenging. I love being being the expert in that special division stage of job. Yeah. So the company was going through like another like 2 phases of like buying out into different private equities, and eventually they got sold out to Post. So after that, I was like, it's time for me to move on. And where do I go to? I thought e-commerce will be the next generation of China business. And I don't want to be just doing, offline distribution and marketing and trade marketing. So I said, I want to do e-commerce. So I joined my friend's startup called Fresh. So it's a e-commerce website and specializing in, very healthy eating, premium lifestyle in Shanghai. So I was head of marketing for them. So spent 1 year there until we failed with the next round of fundraising. So it's a challenging job. So that's the risk you have if you want to always do 0 to 1 or 1 to 10. For a company with less than, let's say, 100 million kind of sales a year, just probably in 1 or 2 months, you never know where the company will go. Because in the past, we are just very naive. We're like, okay, I work for the big corporates. Big corporates are always there, but when you're working with like a more earlier stage, you have to be ready for the risk anytime, any day. So just stay strong, right? Yeah. So at that point, I was like, okay, so probably I need to take a little break, pause a little bit, go to a bigger platform again, right? So emotionally I got hurt. Like I was doing such a great job. How come I didn't get next round of fundraising? I went to Pizza Hut. And in Pizza Hut, I was also doing a really interesting job. I was the person doing marketing and the strategy for the Pizza Hut delivery division. So Pizza Hut have so many restaurants, right? They have like almost 5,000. So 10% of them having challenges every year because it's large space, but it's not enough income. So I specialize in doing innovative business model for them. So I go talk to people, figure out, how the menu will be like, do the innovation, and then train the stores to, do all the marketing and sales. So I was there for 3 years and a half.
By the way, you've done a great job. I love the menus and we love it. That's great feedback.
Yeah. So I gained 10 pounds in Pizza Hut. Most healthy company I worked for, right? But considering I was a healthcare communication professional, right? So I was there for about 3 years, and then what happened? I got pregnant.
Yeah.
So I was pregnant, and I was thinking, is that right for me to be always in the fast food industry? So what really make me happy? So I was in the Pizza Hut. It's a big company. I had my freedom, but I did such a good job that the moment I got back, I got promoted from a higher level, and I have to be in charge of like 2,000 restaurants. I was like, oh, it was difficult to balance family and all this operational work with over 2,000 restaurants. So I was like, maybe I need to rethink. So I started looking back all the things I've done, and also thinking about like the experience of being a new mom in a big corporate. Like can't even find a place to do breast pumping. Have to go through 4 hours of meeting where my breast is like hurting like a stone.
Yeah.
And then I can barely laugh after these 4 hours. I don't want to be in the meeting anymore. You have to pretend you're just such a serious, like corporate entrepreneur. I listened to all these presentations. And I was like, is there a better way of just finding a solution for myself? That at that point, one of my friend in London, and she was like, hey, do you still remember me? We talked, like this February, blah blah XYZ day. I was like, I think you guys were selling sex toys. He said, no, we're not selling sex toys. We're selling breast pumps and pelvic floor trainers. We're just so innovative that people always think we're toys or like some kind of massage machine. I was like, interesting. Let's talk. So this is one of my Oxford alumni. She's actually on the investing side. She's like, you should talk to them. I looked into that. I was like, wow, amazing. Just like, what Sophia was thinking as of, just now. So I decided that, I will join them. And then, probably this is one of the, the happiest job I've ever been in. because, like I can perfectly integrate my job with my life. Because I spend a lot of time with moms. I run the moms clubs in China. And we talk, every week, sharing tips of how to becoming a better mom, how to talk to your spouse, how do you go through the depressions, how do you go through like preparations for the second child in the family. We talk about like tips of how to utilizing, like different, products, like including Elvie, including Aiden Anus. By the way, we'll already collaborate with them. My first Aiden Anus is from Xiaofang, actually. So it's a very nice gift. And work with like Silver Cross, work with a Little Butterfly from London, like all these UK brands. So I am working for Elvie, but all like CBBC, the China British Business Council, come to me a lot, asking me for tips and advice about how to grow the business in China for new brands. And it's just a very nice relationship, with a corporate, with a team. And it doesn't mean it's not challenging. Of course, it is challenging. The cultural barriers, like still half the time people think I'm selling sex toys. I still have to explain to people, to my family, what I am doing, and I still I still struggles because it's a smaller company. It is less budget, and it's very focused group of people. You have to find them. You have to tell them that, don't worry, we are here. Just wait for you to choose us, not pushing you to choose us, right? So, but still, it's one of the, the best position I've been in. So I enjoy the freedom and also, the responsibility, the challenges that's being brought over by this job. So I feel like I'm being like a very like well-rounded marketer at this point, but in a very business-driven way. So, that's a very long answer to the question of where I am now and, why I am a marketer in China now. Yeah.
Wow. But excellent. I mean, one thing what we can learn is Sophia definitely know her lane, and then she stays in her lane. It's basically utilizing her curiosity, and then she loves challenges. I think, you stay in the lane. I think that's what we all can actually learn. You stay in the lane and do the things what you enjoy and you're good at, and then you'll be happy. So really, it's fascinating story. I really enjoy, and I'm sure Sally did
Love
too.
story.
Oh, we love. I mean, that it's a fascinating story. So long is better. And so yeah, so the next question really is relating to this is from your perspective, is marketing in China and different from the rest of the world?
They're different. So first of all, the landscape grows really, really quickly, and you have to be a very quick learner. So probably in the past few years, when I was doing marketing, for the first time in my life, we're doing text messaging, communication, and then it was BBS, right? And then it was like Facebook in the US, UK, Instagram, but in China, it was originally Weibo, and then it became WeChat, where the most traffics are. And then, it's TikTok where you do a lot of short videos. And this year, like the regulations for the different platforms changes, and the audience in the different platforms are very, very diverse. Plus, if you are like trying to do shopping, if you are very like result sales driven, then like Little Red Book will be where the most wealthy Chinese consumers are. And also like there are like like forbidden words on different platforms, and the purchasing behaviors, the purchasing journey, and the discount mechanics still different. Like even just within China, like every 1 or 2 years, it can be a major change. So this year during the COVID, like people don't go out. That's why like live streaming becomes so important. Like we used to be very image and text driven. Now we're all like very short video and live streaming driven. Just really learning to cope with the new reality is the challenge of doing marketing in China. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. That's fascinating. Yes,
I know, and then I think, and is that this year or last year, Sophia, you done your first Taobao?
Yeah, live streaming.
Yeah, live streaming. Well,
I was a sales champion, by the way.
It's amazing. I mean, for me, this is something which is like, for me, wow, it's miles away from where I could do that. But it is, but feel like you enjoy it, and then I love your laugh. So that's really good. And Sally,
don't take yourself too seriously, that it works.
Exactly. Exactly. We're all fiction figures. Don't take us too seriously. Exactly.
Like you see me today, I'm just really relaxed, in my Oxford shirt. Like promotional shirt.
I was actually somehow thinking you will wear something Oxford because that's your connection with UK, right?
The whole thing is like I'm actually not in the office today. Like if you look outside, you'll see. Let me show you. Yeah, like that's the tallest building in Shanghai. Can you guys see that? The tallest building, like Shanghai Center. Like that's where I live. So I like guys can see that. I can see the Shanghai Center every day from my window.
Wow,
so like today I'm kind of like working from home was because we spent about four days doing the CBME, which is the largest mom and baby show in China. So I've been working like 4 days, like from 8 o'clock to about like 9 p.m. So that's why today I'm just having a flexibility of just doing things at home, just get things done. We actually work longer than probably the typical office hours, especially after COVID this year. But so I'm just being me.
Yes, cool. I it's my first time to meet you, Sophia, and I really admire your professionalism and also your attitude, being a mom, being an entrepreneur within a startup organization, and take it to really high level. Interestingly, I also started with Weetabix in Hong Kong for my PR agency life, so I not related to you, but I'm not as smart as you, I hated healthcare communications. So
it's difficult. Come on,
it's
like
so tough.
yeah.
Like you actually need to be like a doctor in order to communicate in their own language. So yes, so but your effort, hard work definitely paid off. So yeah, so I also do PR, but not like you on the ground. So I'm really keen to learn from you as well. So this is quite a general question in the sense that I'm sure a lot of Western clients or brands ask you, do you have any top tips on marketing to the Chinese consumer market, just based on your experience with Pizzahut, your current job? One or two tips that you would advise when Western brands want to target the Chinese consumers?
Actually, this is exactly the question CMIBC asked me to. Yeah, I've done the training with them in the morning, and I'll be doing the presentation actually in 2 days' time, exactly this time, with a few like UK companies. So they asked me to provide the don'ts and do's. So the first tips I give to them is know who is going to be paying for your product, right? So sometimes, like for example, one product that's just very like say mass market in the UK could be priced as a premium side in the Chinese market, right? So pricing point matters, and then user behaviors. So for example, like if you are, let's say, using like you guys know the smooth skin, right? The hair remover. A Chinese consumer don't used to like say just get their wax or hair removed in the past. Yeah. It becomes a trend. So, that's one of you have to know the consumers. If they enter in, let's say, 5 years earlier, it will never sell. But they got here at the right timing, okay? So know your consumers, know their purchasing patterns. And also, are they buying for themselves or are they buying for the family? So there's like a very historical case of, let's say, the guys will be, go get a beer and then go buy, probably diapers or formula milk, in the supermarket. That will not be the case in China. Chinese men do not participate. So they give you a credit card, just get your own things down, So know your consumers, I think, is very important. Are they like are they on the like picking up trend or are they on the declining, trend? And then know your competition, who you're competing with, right? So these are the critical questions you always have to answer first. And then understanding if that's like say a regular product, for example, if it's toothpaste or facial cream, it's for almost everyone. That's more like a mass market. So you are trying to reach as many people as possible to build up the impression. But if you're trying to go for, let's say, a very focused group, for example, for us, we're doing mom and baby and like more higher income moms. I do not want to be talking to everybody because that would be not cost effective for my business. I want to talk to the moms who can understand the product, who are sophisticated, who are technology lovers, who frequently want to have a better work-life balance. So I need to go find them in private hospitals, right? Or in like Little Red Book. So just these are the do's. And also finding the right partners, so important.
Yeah.
And no offense to the big 4As that we all worked for before, but if you are a UK startup or Chinese startup, don't go for the big 4As. You will be just paying for the agency fees and you get nothing done because they'll tell you, here's a check of 1 million, we just done your market survey. But the whole thing is like, if you are a smaller company, like you need to help from your boutique companies. They will tell you how to use the money very wisely, and they are very current. They can be experts in live streaming, in TikTok. Probably it's a house of like 10 people ish, less or more, but they could do such a good job. Don't pay for the overhead, and eventually just really keep communicating. So if you feel comfortable with just regular reviews, then if it works, it works. If it doesn't work, stop as early as possible and find a better partner because there will be plenty to choose from.
Okay, really wise tips. Yes. So my next question is really about your journey with your current company, Elvie. I also had a look at the website. I was so impressed that I must sold much to my husband.
Hey, find that you are a good husband.
I have 2 boys. I said, I wish I could have this like a few years ago. So now you have been with the company Elvie for 1 year. So what actually, I think you already touched on it briefly, that what drive you or what made you decide to join this company?
So you know, of course, you know, I mean, kind of like coming to the point of realizing I need a better work-life balance, and also doing things, because whatever I do, I'm really dedicated. I spend a lot of time on it. So I feel
Yeah.
like, you know, pizza and a, you know, like 6 months old toddler is not compatible at that point. I cannot imagine her like having pizza. Yeah. Plus, I mean, I myself wasn't having pizza at that point. So I
Yeah.
feel like a little kind of like really, really kind of challenged for inspirations, you know.
Yeah.
And I just want to find a better fit together. Like
Yeah.
work-life balance sometimes doesn't really exist. It's about like, you know, living a life, living a work you like, probably would be a better way of saying that. And plus, I mentioned all the pressures, you know, like having to stay in longer meetings, have to travel so much, you know, like 2,000 stores around the country. It's impossible, right?
Oh.
And plus, I just feel I kind of need a change. Yeah, so that just happened to be a very, very, very lucky choice to me. Yeah.
I think you're
Well,
very as well. Yeah.
no, I
Very,
think I just felt like she's attracting this. You know, this is a perfect role for you, but it perfectly fits from what you talked about early on your journey. You know, in the healthcare, you're always very into the health, eating, fitness, and later on, you know, you did when we had a conversation in Shanghai. You were thinking about you want life and family balance, and then this just landed. I think it just fits your journey. It's a lot of hard work building onto it, but you know, I'm so happy actually you are where you are now. And then
I think people need to say no at one stage. Then you will be able to welcome what fits you. Yeah. So the interesting is like I feel a lot of women when they become mom, they fail to say no. They're like, I have to be breastfeeding, I have to take care of the family, I have to be the perfect super mom. It's impossible. So even if we're doing, you know, the breast pump to the Chinese mom, the reason is to give them more freedom, more choice, but it's not to give them empowerment to become the perfect mom and perfect everything.
yeah,
It's impossible. Just say no, I can't do it. I just need that moment for myself. I just want a pause in my life, and I need help. I need assistance from the family, right?
yeah.
So admitting that, you know, you have vulnerabilities and you want to change, it's fine. Nobody worked for in the same job for 20 years now, right? Unless it's your own company.
But I'm so glad to hear from you. I mean, you're truly obviously Chinese moms in business, because you know right now you are really working so closely with Chinese moms. I'm just so glad to hear from you. And then the message you are trying to tell in Chinese mom is don't be a superwoman, because so historic, you know, and Asian mom.
It's called PUA. It's wrong. They're trying to want to do everything. Impossible. I'm not gonna be like. I mean, people are like, oh, see Victoria Beckham. She's, you know, mom of so many kids. She's still so skinny. She started her own brand. She's still in love with her husband. Do you really know her in her daily life? Come on, just don't just believe in what you see. Yeah.
Yes, yeah. I mean, we all know it. It's a lot of discipline and hard work behind it, and then
you don't have 2 drivers and like 6 nannies, okay? You don't have a husband. That's Beckham.
yeah. Delegate.
Yeah.
Delegate. Outsource. Yeah, that's actually very nicely to my next question. What are the key messages you want to pass to Chinese moms through your current job? You already touched on it. In case you have any things to add.
I think just to the Chinese moms, I think just love ourselves as who we are, love ourselves as a woman, love ourselves as, you know, just me as a person, and you love ourselves probably, you know, finally as mom. You know, eventually you have to love yourself as a woman first, because just not only as a person, but as a woman. You know, don't just try to put yourself so hard and say, I'm a strong man, I'm a strong person. A woman first, you know, because we are, you know, we have our beauty, we are beautiful, we're intelligent, but we are not as, you know, like say, we're not as powerful, we're not as strong certain times. But then be a human, so integrity, independence, important. When you do these jobs well, you have fulfill your social functions, and then you think about like, how can I become a good mom? You know, if you are always thinking, oh, don't focus your kids like too much. because it's gonna be hurting you as an individual and the relationship with your partner. So do yourself first, love yourself first. Then everything will eventually come along.
Wow.
It's very wise. I mean, it's definitely. I think it's to be able to love
Men
other
cannot
people.
be spoiled. No.
No. I think you are pioneering on educating a new generation of men in China. So I'm fully supporting you, Sophia. So if you need anything from my side, I'm actually diving into it and then wear my armors and then ready to fight. So so definitely, I think I'm so glad. It's definitely so refreshing. I think it's so refreshing to hear from you on the ground in China, and then working with moms, and through obviously Elvie is a brand that you are passionate about, a brand which is helping women's to improve our lives and through technology. I think it's so innovative, and I love that. And so obviously I think your little girl is 2.5, I think.
Yeah.
And so you are still very fresh. You are still very fresh in the motherhood.
Yes.
And so so how motherhood has changed your approach to business?
I think I start to care about what's behind the product even more. Probably in the past, I will be looking at probably the ingredients, where it is made and all that. But now I sort of look more into the philosophies behind brands. So, for example, like probably in the past, I will be looking at like a good brand just for the brand's sake and just looking at the ingredients itself. But I still think like what will this brand do to the world and to the future? Because I always think about it, like in 20 years time, my daughter will be out probably like a young little woman herself. What will be her world like? I want to be able to having her in a world that's even greener, like safer. But the challenge will be, at that point, technologies will be evolving so quickly. There will be, AI. Probably a woman will be, people could be connected to computers. People will be, just talking to each other without opening mouths, just using the senses to communicate. So I sort of become even more forward thinking. And sometimes I worry a little bit about like how should I educating a little young stubborn woman for 20 years later of a world I don't even see how to do that. Then I realized that probably just keep thinking, keep learning, keep being open-minded and growing with her, in a way that kind of will prepare myself a little bit more. I hope she will only enjoy her girlfriend and boyfriend at that point anyways. I know, no matter how much I try.
Well, I think,
but still, try to be her friend.
No, I think it's so inspiring, isn't it? It's growing with our children. When we're starting to become.
You have girls too. You have 3 girls,
Yeah.
right?
So when we're starting to have, when we first become a mother, we want to be perfect. And of course we're not, because we're human. We have our weakness, and we're starting to feel bad about ourselves because we have the weakness. And then I think exactly actually what you just said is really making me feel so much better, because we can't predict in 20 years time. What we really have is now with our girls. And I think about to know a brand, know the philosophy, know all this. I think ultimately things can't change. It's a love we give to our children. It's a loving environment, a loving, harmonious family environment. We can create it for our girls and boys, so that they can actually carry that self-love, isn't it? Carry that self-love, and that's really all we can actually certain we could potentially improve the chance they have that. And so I really, it is indeed, I think it's a growing process with our children. And so you are such a wise lady.
We all are. That's why we're here together. Because if I talk to somebody who don't understand, they'll be like, cool, then done. Talk to the right people matters.
It's such so we actually came to the final question. I mean, it's such a quick time flies. So what's the most important thing for you being a mother, Sophia?
Learning to accept myself as who I am. I mean, I think you've actually talked to the points of like, you want to be perfect for her, you want to be role models for her, but you can't even answer the question of, should I ask her to stop crying? Because there will be some moments the baby is just crying, you're like, you should not cry. Or like, why? You can't answer that. It's not right, it's not wrong, you know? And should I try to, you know, let's say, you know, stop her? Should I put her in a silent corner? Should I cry with her, or should I? You can't answer all this, and there are just so many moments you start to doubt your own intelligence. Like, am I just so stupid that I don't know how to talk to her? And yeah, seriously, like, and then you're like, I mean, coming to the stage of like, okay, fine, don't worry. Eventually, she'll grow up. That's how all of us grow up, right?
Yeah. It is. It's so true. I think it's just when the children crying, we kind of instinct feel like there's something wrong with it, isn't it? There's something wrong with the cry, and there's something wrong with ourselves, can't handle the cry. Yeah. But actually, if we just let it go, okay, that's it.
Forget it. Eventually, it will be over.
Yeah, nothing is wrong, and then we'll be fine. And actually, it's all about the internal, how we actually, you know,
respond to that.
Yeah, how we respond to that, how we actually respond for the feelings, you know, towards the crying. So if we're thinking, okay, that's fine, let's just all let all out, and let's just don't do any further interpretation on we're not good, and then she's crying and stuff like that. So actually, life can be much easier. I think it's a hard job. I think it is hard because it's so, you know, with a crying toddler, you know, that moment, your emotion, your anger, your stress can go from 0 to 10 in a half a second time.
Especially you have 3.
Yes, I'm literally
one could be on the shy, could be shy. The other one could be just naturally energetic and, you know, like aggressive. Like, how do you balance the 2 or 3? You know, it's just never a perfect answer. Yeah.
All I can say is I survived, Sophia.
Yes.
So I think I survived. So I think that means we are actually, you know, we have the potential. We always are. We're always growing to be someone we really want to be.
If you can manage 3 girls, you can manage any company.
Well,
seriously.
I think life is always a purpose. I think with that, you know, with the business I'm managing now, with a mother role, and then that eventually, I think, leading to the conversation we're having now, leading to everything we brought to our life, to the positive energy we bring. So for that, you know, I really thank you very much, Sophia. It's an amazing conversation, and then really, I my admire towards you is grow stronger, and then. So I hopefully your husband's not jealous about that. I am really, truly, yes. I think you are an amazing woman and a mother. And so yeah.
We all are. So, that's why we are here together. Yeah.
And being an entrepreneur myself and running my own business, I would love you to start thinking to run your own business, and then maybe we can work together. I'm sure you have all the qualities. It's just a matter of time, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how you grow from Elvie to the next level. It sounds like everything.
I don't know when that's happening yet, but you know, if it really happens sometimes, then it's just, you know, the reality, right? So, but you know, just cherish what we have now and enjoying, you know, the moment, enjoying what life has brought to you. I think it's what really matters. Yeah.
Amazing. Yes, I'm so glad we talked today, and yes. That comes to the end of our interview, unfortunately. And if you are for listeners, if you feel inspired, please do feel free to share this video to other moms and men, because we can all learn a lot from Sophia. And if you have any questions or feedback for us, please do feel free to contact me or cell phone at any time. And we shall see you again very soon. Thank you. Thanks again, Sophia, for all your time and wisdom.
Thank you, Sophia.